Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. So my last video I talked about slop in basically lead screws and in various parts of an XY table. So I talked about slop in here, and that was on my Craftsman's table. So this is a Yuasa table, XY table, that was made in 1972. It's fairly old, but it's in pretty good condition, other than a little bit of oops on the table. I had a mill issue and I did that one, but yeah, it's in pretty good shape. I've retuned it since I've gotten it. It was pretty filthy when I got it, but it's pretty clean now. Anyway, so in here there is a thrust bearing. So this little collar, it just spins freely. It's got a little set screw in it so you can lock it down if you want. But yeah, this spins freely. It doesn't actually retain anything. But right up inside here, there's a thrust bearing, and then inside here's another thrust bearing, and then there's a brass nut on the back side with a set screw on it, and it pinches all that stuff together so that, it's like right now, if you'll notice, it's loose. That's slop in the threads, not on anything in here. But like if I move the handle back and forth, see there's no movement because this is all, you know, pinched up pretty good, but it's only tight enough so that it doesn't have any slop in it, but it moves quite easily. So anyway, let's look at my dial indicator. So we're going to do this axis first, and again, this handle is, you know, loose. So let's see how much run out or slop or slack or what do you want to call it in the thread. So I'm going to push on the table from the far end off camera, and you can see that the dial indicator is basically at the 14th thou mark. So now I'm going to pull the other direction. There we go. And so you can see it picked up about 5 thousandths there. Let's do that again. I'll push it. There we go. So it went back down to 14, went up to 19. So that's all slop between the lead screw and the threads in the table. All right. So let me set the camera down and do the same for the other axis. Go. One camera, stabilize. Okay, cool. Last thing I want to do is drop my camera. So now dial indicator is over on the other axis. And stick that plunger on something. That's probably going to be fine. Yes, there we go. So now it's on 9. Move that up in. So it's on 9. Hopefully that's in focus. And so now I'm going to be pushing that way. Alright, so that's it. It basically goes to 10. And I'm going to pull. Yeah, and it goes down to 2. So it's got a little bit more movement in that screw. You know, about 7 thousandths worth of slop rather than 5 like on the other axis. So yeah, up to about 9.5, almost 10. And down to 2. So yeah, it looks like about 7.5 thou worth of movement, so a little bit more, but that's all in the lead screws right there. Oops, I'm not on the camera. Here we go. So yeah, that's all in the lead screw right there. Okay, so that is one form of movement that you can have in an XY table. There are, well, this is going to show up. Yeah. So up underneath here, these screws right here. And there's another set right here. So every XY table is going to have them. If it doesn't, well, it's a piece of absolute shit. But yeah, what they do is the ways can be adjusted so that they're tighter or looser. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my dial indicator in a slightly different spot here. I'm going to put it on the edge of the table right here. Lock it down, because what I want to do is I want to twist the table. So we're going to see what we get out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to twist the table. I'm going to twist this bottom way down here so that I don't tweak the top way. In other words, the one that's this axis. I only want to tweak that bottom one. And we're going to see how much movement we get out of there. Okay, so right now you can see the dial indicator is at let's see if I can make that a little bit better. Oop, that wasn't even on the thing. There we go. Okay, so now I'm on the 5. I'm just going to move the bottom way. I'm going to move it towards the dial indicator. Alright, so if I pull over hard, I'm seeing 2 thou worth of movement. So I went from 5 down to 3. And I'm going to go the other direction. Yep, same thing. I see 2 thou that direction. So my ways could use a little bit more tightening, and then it settles back at 5 again. We did it again. So yeah, it picks up 2, and I lose 2. So my ways could use, that bottom way could use a little bit of adjustment. All right, so now we're going to do the top one, and this one's exaggerated because it's going to be both ways, not just the top one. So basically take that number, or basically settle at the 5, and we already know we got plus and minus 2 on the bottom one, so whatever is more than that is going to be the top way. So now I'm going to twist it, the top, just the table. Okay, so that one, I am pushing hard, and I only got 2, so that direction is pretty darn good. There's no slop in that way. I'm going to pull on it. Okay, I'm pulling hard. Yeah, the only movement is in the bottom way. This top one here has not added anything to that mark. You know, I'm going to try that again. So I'm going to push hard. Oh, there we go. Oh, that doesn't count. Now I've got the slop and the screw in there. So that's a problem too. So let me try that again. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do this with slop in the screws as well. So let's twist it. Let me twist the other direction. Yeah, that's it. So my top way is nice and tight. The bottom way, however, has got about 4 thou worth of movement in it. So what I need to do is come up underneath here, and I need to loosen those jam nuts off, and then tighten those screws just a smidge more to take the play out of that bottom way. Because the top one looks like it's in pretty good shape. Looks like it's probably darn right perfect, but the bottom one's got a little bit of movement in it. Anyway, that'll fix one problem, but it won't fix my my lead screws. That's just making sure that I don't get movement in the ways so the table can twist. But any movement you have in your system is movement that's going to cause you issues. So clean up all of it. So you got to see movement in the lead screws, you got to see movement in the ways, and you got to see that there was no movement here. So I've got this completely solved. I just got lead screw wear probably. So I mean, this table was made in 1972, and I've already adjusted the ways before, but clearly I need to adjust this axis some more. Well, anyway, anybody who's got an XY table, you're all going to deal with these issues. There is not a table out there that's perfect, and there's always going to be a need for adjustment. So this is the kind of issues you're going to have with any XY table. I don't care what it is. You know, that's the Craftsman table I showed in my previous video. You're going to have the exact same issues with that. You're going to have it with cross vices, anything that's got lead screws on it. You're going to have all this kind of thing to deal with. So anyway, this is De-bodgery saying hopefully that helps somebody. Stay away from that damn virus and take care.